when we've been plotting things earlier in this module, I just want to point out we've been using this plot function, and this is not the same as the base R plot function. There is a separate plot function in the SF package. And so if you're curious about that, you can run help on plot, and it will open up this help documentation for the plot SF function. So it works pretty similar to the plot function, but this is specifically made to plot SF objects. So if you're using the plot function from base R, it's going to work differently. So here we're using a special plot function from the SF package. Okay, so we wanted to plot our SF object that had temperature and rainfall data. We created our geometry list. We created our SF object, and now we plot it using this plot function. So let's go ahead and plot this SF object that we just created. So I'm going to just use this plot function. I'm going to enter the name of the SF object. Here, the variable that I'm going to plot first will be temperature. So I enter the name of the variable in quotes inside of the square brackets that we have next to the name of the SF object. So SF bracket, and then in quotes, temperature means the data that we're going to plot. The attribute is temperature. PCH equals 20. That gives us the symbol that we're going to use to plot each of these points. This is going to be a closed dot. And then I'm going to add axes to my plot. So I'm going to run this code cell and we get a plot. I will just zoom out a little bit so we can see the whole plot here. Here's a plot of that SF object with the temperature variable. So I've got my 3 points. At 0, 0, we can see based on the color palette that is used here, at 0, 0, we have like 10 degrees Celsius, for example. We can match that up. That was the first value in temperature. At the second point, at 0, 1, we have a temperature that's shaded in yellow. So that seems to be like 11 degrees Celsius, for example. And at the point 1, 1, we have pink, which is telling me that that was about 10.5. And that matches up with the values that we made up for temperature. So this is scaling. We can see the values based on the color that's being used. And we get a legend for the color on the right side. And if I want to change this to rainfall, then I can change the variable that we're plotting, the data that we're plotting, by giving it the column name. So now I'm plotting rainfall. So maybe this is like 1 inch of rainfall over here, 1.3-ish inches over here, and about 0.9 inches of rain over there. And that matches up with the values that we made up for the rainfall totals. So that's how we can plot that object, and that's what the plot looks like. So we can change the variables accordingly. We can change the shape sizes and so on.